One night, you are comfortable, warm, and safe, but the lights flicker momentarily and die. You hear the sounds of moans and crows in the night. For a moment, everything becomes still, and the noises become dead silent. You hear a loud banging from the boarded windows. An intense scratching at the door. Eventually, the sound comes to a screeching halt. You wait and wait, waiting for daylight to come, until something bursts through your front door, and all hell breaks loose. Only one thought enters your mind as you load a makeshift shotgun. When will this nightmare end? Welcome to Spooktober month, where we'll be discussing and showcasing interesting horror games all month. Lately I haven't been posting as much as I've been busy with other things, but I think I'm going to release multiple videos at once to make up for it. So, grab some popcorn and enjoy the show. Darkwood encapsulates every aspect of survival horror. Its atmosphere is something that never relents, and it has a wonderful, unique identity that won't be seen anywhere else. Honestly, you'll never play a game like this, ever. From collecting weapons, to fend off monsters, to frantically waiting every night to see the light of day. Every waking moment of this game will have you at the edge of your seat. Each monster has their own identity, and every day you survive inevitably ramps into a grueling, frightful experience that leaves you wanting more. Every night, you'll be wondering what will come knocking on your door next. If you have one, of course. You'll be nailing boards to windows, finding ammunition to load homemade weapons, and you'll be killing your fair share of nightmares. What is that? That is stronger. What the fuck? Darkwood's greatest strength is ensuring that players feel like they have a fighting chance, only to be crushed by the brutal monsters of its world. It gives you all the tools to defend yourself, but that doesn't mean the game plays fair. You'll constantly be on edge, desperately clinging to your weapons for survival. At its most base nature, Darkwood is about making the most out of what you have.
Gotcha, bitch!
And forging together a makeshift base of operations can make the difference. Overall, the experience lingers long after you stop playing. It's a game that utterly sinks its teeth into you, rewarding veterans with the ultimate survival experience. If survival horror isn't your thing, then this game isn't for you. My advice is to play and beat the game on normal difficulty and see how you feel afterwards. I promise you won't beat this game on nightmare hard on your first try though. It's just that difficult as you have limited lives. Not understanding the game's mechanics will lead to challenging encounters, and Darkwood doesn't hold back. It even tells you that there's no hand-holding. You're on your own. The story of Darkwood is intriguing, leading you to discover things slowly on your own. Whether you can piece it together is up to you, but your primary goal is to survive and leave the Darkwood one way or another. You start as a farmer and are left to your own devices, searching for the person who left and drugged you in the Darkwood in the first place. Armed with nothing but a backpack, you try to find a way out of the cursed forest. The characters are interesting and become set pieces themselves. They all have motivations for lingering in the Darkwood, and most of them simply want to leave but don't have the tools to do so. Others, however, have different intentions. This is where the player comes in, acting as a mediator to help remedy their problems as if you didn't have enough on your plate already. From helping a sobbing boy who plays violin to completing tasks for an otherwise mischievous wolfman, you're very much not alone in Darkwood. My favorite parts of this game include moments where you fall into a deep sleep and find ambiguous moments filled with fear and mystery. Your character will fall unconscious if you give them enough drugs, and it can lead to some enlightening moments. One moment, you'll find yourself happily walking through your house eating a bowl of soup, only to find yourself sleeping in a 6-foot deep hole. Darkwood is basically a large sandbox of horror. Each zone you interact with has its own story and specific waypoints that provide interesting and varying elements that you can play with. In order to progress the story, you have to go through each zone and find specific things to help aid you in your journey. The map's orientation randomizes each new run, and landmarks are placed differently. All the landmarks you find are fairly useful and engaging, and as I've said, it builds the story. It's an enormous world, and the game begs you to explore it in its entirety. Darkwood even incentivizes your travels by giving you the resources to defend yourself in your hideout. The game time is roughly 15 to 20 hours long if you decide to explore thoroughly. Every day you'll uncover new secrets, and each night will have you stuck in a corner desperately waiting for morning. There aren't many boss fights in Darkwood, but what it makes up for are difficult nights to survive in your hideout. Be careful if you hear a knock on the door. You don't want to know what bumps in the night. Darkwood does a lot of things right, but I feel like the combat is very difficult to fully master. It will feel clunky, slow, and awkward as you start. The feeling of killing enemies much stronger than you in a fight for survival is gratifying as you learn how to dispatch them. Don't be alarmed if you die a lot, because there are a ton of fast enemies that you'll have to overcome. It'll have you using guns and blunt weapons to get through obstacles. The delivery of being a weak, fragile man is sold well as you're constantly running for your life. You'll always encounter new things, and you have to expect the unexpected. There are tons of traps ranging from exploding bodies to poisonous mushrooms you step on. And there are bear traps scattered throughout the environment. Weapons can only get you so far, but the greatest tool you have is your wits.
I'm just getting started.
And a lot of prep work goes a long way. Opening the inventory is the equivalent to how Last of Us works, in which your character reaches into their backpack to sort through gear. Each day as you're foraging for materials, you'll be capped by the amount of space you can carry. However, once you find the necessary materials, you'll be carrying a ton of gear as well as readying more things in your hotbar. The survival aspect is well executed. Boarding up walls, blocking doorways with obstacles, and setting up traps feels like you're preparing for the apocalypse, which isn't too far off. My only issue is that I wish there were more traps and weapons to play with. But that isn't to say the weapon variety isn't interesting. From using a nail on a board to taping together a double-barrel shotgun, whatever you find in the wilderness can be put to use.
See this? This is my boomstick. It's a 12-gauge double-barreled Remington. S-Mart's top of the line. You can find this in the sporting goods department.
Progressing from a stick as your weapon to a blunt shovel feels great, and naturally you'll come to appreciate the stronger weapons as you develop your workbench. You can upgrade gear with parts like a sharper shovel, a more durable shovel, or a more durable shovel. Yeah, there's not much to upgrade in this game in terms of weapons, but you can always upgrade yourself. That's right. You can give yourself drugs created by mixing mushrooms and monster guts, giving you the ability to inherit special abilities no ordinary human is capable of. Honestly, most of the powers you gain suck, but I understand the delicate balance of giving the player too much strength in terms of free abilities. However, it ended up leaving me disappointed overall with what you get, and most of them I never ended up using. And the negatives are a nuisance to deal with what you trade off. I'm not saying stay away from upgrading your character with drugs, because they have good story aspects as well. But what I am saying is that I feel that there should be more variety. Instead, I'm sucking off an electric lamp for health and eating wood. The most useful one I acquired was the ability to run infinitely for a short duration. Overall, the powers are mostly things you can live without. Although interesting, I feel like there was definitely a missed opportunity here for interesting variety.
Hopefully I don't run into, I'm not gonna jinx it.
Well, come get some.
Holy f***, that was AIDS.
Darkwood has an impressive soundtrack and is a masterclass in atmospheric sound design. Hitting enemies with a sharp shovel gives a satisfying visceral splat and thud as you fight back evil. Shooting guns and lighting torches feels real, and reloading shells into your shotgun is simply music to my ears.
Nope.
Even accidentally hitting a bear trap sounds painful, but the most terrifying aspect of all are the sounds you hear at night. Loud bangs on windows and doors can be heard every night if you've boarded everything up. I won't go too into detail with what you will hear, but I will forewarn you that you are going to hear some otherworldly things. To say Darkwood is disturbing doesn't do the game enough justice, to say the least. You'll feel goosebumps and chills as you explore the dark corners of its world and uncover unfathomable secrets. Giving monsters a good splat never felt so satisfying. Overall, Darkwood is a solid game despite its setbacks. While I advocate the survival horror aspects of the game, I dislike certain things that keep the gameplay from being sharp and smooth. Instead, I'm left with a rough experience that only improves with time. Would I recommend this game to everyone? Yes. Darkwood is something that I believe anyone can pick up and play, if you're in the mood for survival horror, that is. I'm going to give Darkwood a 7.8 out of 10. It's a harsh game in some aspects, but what it excels in is its surprisingly gripping atmosphere and sense of survival. I feel like improvements that can be made are its mechanics, and namely combat. I absolutely hated getting stun locked in a corner by 4 enemies, and once you're stuck, you're guaranteed dead. Not to mention having my attacks cancelled by getting hit, it makes for some awkward encounters. Regardless of its flaws, the game should be in everyone's game library if you can muster the courage. It's an exploration survival horror game that everyone should experience. Once you stare into the wood, don't be surprised if it stares back. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you stayed with me till the end, let me know what game you want to see during Spooktober month in the comments. I might just review it. Sorry I haven't been uploading as much as I've been busy working on other projects and also procrastinating. Sometimes I get caught up in what I want to make next and I can be indecisive. That being said, I'll always upload something given a week or two. I'd like to thank the people who've stuck around the whole time and keep watching my videos. You have a special place in my heart. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you around.